there are really two basic states of being. You're either in love or you're in fear. And fear, then creates a host of other things like anxiety, depression. It could create anger and apathy and all of these negative emotions, where love puts us in the present moment. It allows us to even be in heart and brain coherence so that we're in a brainwave state that is more creative. And the only place that we can create from is when we're in the present moment and when we're in the state of love, right?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to A Loud Voice for Love. You know what we're here to do. We're here to amplify love into the universe and see if we can't change the consciousness of the planet to all be in the frequency of love. And so today I have a really lovely, lovely friend. I met her probably 2 years ago already, which it seems like I think we absolutely have known each other in prior lifetimes.
1,000%.
Amy Powers, who is like m most of my guests, just an amazing compilation of extraordinary. I mean, we're not talking ordinary, we're talking extraordinary. From her education, which is Ivy League, to, I mean, how old are you? 28 years old when you were writing songs with the Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean,
Yeah, that was quite a shift. Yes, I did. I pulled into songwriting at 27 and then at 28 I was doing that. Life's been a series of adventures. Yeah, you know how
yeah.
it goes when you let yourself multi-hyphenate.
And I love that multi-hyphenated because this is the multi-hyphenated duo on steroids.
100%. I have done a lot of things in my life, or maybe I've been a lot of people in my life. I think the one of the most important things to do to raise the vibration in the world is to expect not to stay where you are and to keep exploring what's next. What now? What next? What now? What next?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we're not meant to stay the same. Actually, it's called evolution.
It could be revolution. Yes.
That too. But
Although I do believe that there are some people who are put here to dig deep into one thing. No, I don't think everybody is like we are, Carol, honestly.
and
I
that's
think
okay.
I think that for some of us, our inquisitive natures and our connection to um, something beyond ourselves lets us open up into new worlds maybe more easily than some other people, or just we can't stop wondering and we can't stop examining and searching, and then we come to other levels of understanding and other interests, maybe more quickly than other people.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
and no judging, right? No judging the people who find a lane. In fact, I used to be very jealous of those people. Like
Me
I used
too.
to
Me too. The people who had found a thing, they were sure this was their thing. They stayed there and did their thing.
Yeah. Somewhere in my 30s, I used to call it the tortoise and the hare. Like I was like, okay, I'm a hare. I'm like boing, boing, boing. And the tortoise, they were just doing life, right? And they weren't unhappy, right? So they really were meant to be where they were what they were doing in their lane. And it oh, probably by the time I got into my 40s, I realized that it's okay to have a multi-hyphenated life, career, whatever. But it was difficult. And this is kind of a great we're just diving in here to go to a cocktail party, right? When you're multi-hyphenated and people go, "Hello, so nice to meet you. What do you do?" And you're like, "Ah."
Depends who you are, what that answer is. What part of me do you want to hear about,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um, it is a matter of often knowing your audience. Like, on what level would you like to, can I
Yeah.
offer you connection?
Exactly. Which, you know, is a level of maturity for us as well to know how to respond in even that way, right? It's just like, you know, tell me about yourself first and then I'll tell you who I am, right? Is more
Exactly. Exactly right. So, hey, so Carol, tell me about yourself.
But first, I need to know about you, Amy, and so that's what we're supposed to. That's what we're doing here on this podcast. We're
Dang.
we're I'm here with amazing Amy Powers, and I think we will just kind of weave in who she is and what she does, and really ultimately what I see Amy as is a healer, right? And as somebody who really, from my perspective, you see people, right? You and you are curious about who they are, and you're a connector.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So, and that is, I guess, a bit of a through line for me. I did start out in corporate where I felt disconnected from basically everything. I had two starts in corporate as I look back, by the way. You know, I often tell people that I started out as a lawyer, but that isn't true. I actually started my post-college career in an advertising agency. And I felt immediately disconnected from both the people and the process there, even though I was hoping that because I love to play with words and I thought advertising sounded fun, that I would enjoy being on the uh, business end of it, the corporate end of it. That wasn't true at all. And I felt that I wasn't being recognized as a woman for what my potential was. This was back way, way back in the 80s in New York. And
I was
people
there.
people started women on a different track than they started men in this agency. And I just thought that that was innately sort of insulting. And that's when I decided to go back to business school. And that's when my mom told me that I argued so much that I should consider going to law school. And that's how I ended up going to law school as well. So, but that I was at that time very disconnected from the culture of that. It wasn't that I was disconnected from the striving of it. I thought that was pretty cool at the time. But I just didn't like the sexism of it. And I thought, as a woman, I'm going to find a way to connect to a different path in, right? And
Yeah.
so then I went to business school at Columbia. Then I went to law school at Harvard. Then I ended up working at a law firm, a big corporate law firm, and feeling disconnected again. It was not until I started my songwriting career out of the blue that I really started to feel connected to myself. But that happened from illness. That happened because as soon as I started working as a lawyer, it was like I was allergic to real estate finance.
Yeah.
I got chronic fatigue syndrome, and that was a huge aha. And I was forced to take months off my job. And happily, they paid me. That was back in the day, right? But that was when I wrote my first song, and that was when I made my first sort of real connection. And it was to myself, to like, what is my purpose here? Oh my goodness, whatever this thing is, this songwriting thing, I feel so great doing this. I cannot not do this. I
Yeah.
must keep doing this all the time. And that brought me to an awareness that connection is the most important thing. Connection to your purpose, connection to your soul. Then I started doing connection to other people, and growing that. And through all the different careers I've had, which, as have been a few and are still the number's still going up. I feel like every time I get to connect to a different group of people and offer them my whole world. So I connect everybody into, it's like everybody into the pool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's been reaping some really wonderful rewards, both internally and externally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that you were also aware of what your body was telling you, right? And whether you were consciously aware or just bad at it, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. But um, but the thing is, our bodies never lie. I mean, this is what we now know, right? Through all of our experiences that our bodies will always nudge us. They will always tell us, right? They'll make us sick. They will do things. And oftentimes we just want, during that 80s time in New York, I was there too in finance, like on a,
Did I see you there?
we
Yeah.
probably did, but we just were like in our little like bubble of like 80s in New York. And
Great clubs.
oh, great clubs, great clubs. Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yes, what did you have the same experience of becoming ill from doing your corporate work?
yes, but not debilitatingly ill,
Yeah.
soul ill. You know,
Oh, well then at least you're aware you had a soul at that point. I wasn't even aware,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I just was really, and it was very funny. You appreciate this because I was a credit analyst and I my first job out of college, and I would go around because I was like, I kind of look around and it felt so cold and soulless. And we have similar personalities, like just bubbly and vivacious, right? So I'm like, okay, it's like somebody dead. Like, and
Yeah. Where is everybody? Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I would go around to all the 30-year-olds and I go, so do you really like this doing this? Like I was trying to like project myself from 22 to 30, right? Like could I be this person, right?
Yes.
And I was asking that question at 22, right? Like, and literally like going around and saying, you know, do you really like this? Is this like, and I was seeing that they did, right? I was like, oh, they are joyful. I'm joyful as a person, but this work does not bring me joy. And
Yes.
so back then I was always on a soul journey. I just didn't, but it's just, I didn't know how to find it. That was really more it. So I just tried different things on the same path, right? It was sort of like, so I went from an analyst to a trader. Oh my God, talk about like I
Out of
thought,
the
well,
frying pan into the fire. Yeah.
exactly. And then
How'd that work out?
not so well. Like, and then I don't even know. Ultimately, ended up in grad school and wanted to go
The
work.
escape to grad school, right?
Exactly, 'cause that was what else did you do? So you escaped to grad school, and then you still had to like figure out where you were going to
Yes.
land after that. And then
It's the
money was
same.
kind of important, right? Like to even live in New York, you needed to make money. You couldn't just do like the fun thing. And so anyway, I doesn't even matter. I've had so
Bringing it
many
all back. Yes. But
let's
but the point is that you knew what wasn't right, and that's often the key thing. I'm writing this new book, right? About radical restart.
no, I'm supposed to be answering questions for you. I'm the bad girl.
That's right, because you are a radical restarter. And yeah, so the book is Radical Restart, and the subtitle is Ditch the Fear, Change Careers, and Cash In on Your Calling. And I'm doing this, and I have many, many people that I'm interviewing because so many people have been in the same boat for some reason or another, that they find there is something they know they're supposed to be doing, or maybe something they know they're not supposed to be doing. And then there's that process of figuring out, how do I get from here to there, uh, and still stay calm enough, not freak out, not feel like I'm failing in one thing to start another, take the steps that are right for me in the timeline that's right for me. Like, and you were lucky because you knew you had a soul early on, and you started investigating at a very early age. I had no clue, and that's possibly why the illness fell on my head, as it were. It really knocked me out. I had chronic fatigue almost as soon as I started working full time as a lawyer, and um, and that's really exhausting. And it's a huge sign. Some people get smaller signs, like they start to just get, oh, I don't know, stomach issues or migraines, or but for some people it's this, or a big accident or something just knocks you down. And so it's really it's critical to pay attention and wake up when you wake up.
Right.
And I think but for a lot of people, it's scary. Like, were you
I
concerned at
wouldn't
all
tell
at
you
any
that.
part of your journey?
Yeah, well, so how am I doing the work that I'm doing now is because even though I was constantly aware that I wasn't doing the right thing, and I've done, lots of really amazing things that were soul fulfilling, but I still wasn't on the path that the universe that it wanted me to be on. So it just had to give me the final, basically baseball bat across the head, and deliver an incurable eye disease, right? A theoretically incurable eye disease, right? And that is what has put me on this path of doing Love Eat Heal, right? Where I've learned how to heal myself through meditation and neuroscience and biology and qigong and all this stuff. And now I'm helping other people activate their inner healer, right? Just,
Yeah.
by teaching, being the walking example of this type of work. And it is so of service. That's why I love it, because it's no longer, of course, we have to have money as a energetic exchange, right? So, but this is about helping people evolve into their best selves, whether it's by healing a disease or a heartbreak or a transition, a life transition.
I think for a lot of us who grew up in that corporate achievement culture, it is hard to believe that the universe will actually take care of you financially as soon as you start doing the right thing for yourself and the world. However, it seems to be true. It seems to actually work. Like the more clear you get on what you're here for, and the more open you are to allowing the money to come from different sources, the easier it gets. I mean, it took me years to shut down the fear chatter in my head. You?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it still pops in.
Right.
Um,
Is
but
it
yeah.
around the time of the month that your mortgage is due?
Around
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Usually,
Um,
but unfortunately it's shrinking. So like
yeah.
and but the reality in all of this though is like when you were expressing yourself, it's like when we are in love, right? When we're amplifying
Yes.
love language, right? Whatever that is at the time, and you've had many of them, right?
Yeah,
And
that's really interesting because, like I said, when I first discovered songwriting, I fell in love immediately. Lyric writing, fell in love in an insane way, and there was no stopping me. And every door started to open. Right? I suddenly, within, I don't know, a couple of months of writing my first song, I was accepted into this extremely prestigious writing program at BMI for people who were doing musical theater, which is what I had decided to do. That's how I was introduced to writing, was through musical theater, someone who did it. And so I started to pursue that obsessively at the same time as going back to my job, right?
yeah,
Um, and I knew it was love. It was love in the purest sense, but then the business of it started to break down that love in a way that made me question it, right? Like you were talking about, oh yeah, and then soon after you started writing, you were writing with Andrew Lloyd Webber, who's the biggest
right.
writer on Phantom of the Opera, Cats, blah, blah, blah. But that actually was a fairly miserable experience for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up getting anything of um, getting much of what I actually deserved from that experience. But you and I have talked about how that taught me, that was a hard learning, but it taught me to be specific about what I actually wanted from things. Sometimes you're so excited about being in love, whether it's with something that you're doing or someone, that you just take everything. You just say, whatever this is, I want this. This is great, right? And then you learn, oh, well, I didn't actually mean I wanted 100%. I really want it the way I want it. which is, let's say, in my case, like I've told you the example that I used about having my words be heard throughout the world. That's what I thought would be so great. That's the first thing that came to me. Oh my goodness, I'm a songwriter. I love it so much. I want my words to be heard throughout the world. And what I forgot to say was, yes, and I actually want to get paid for it. And I actually want to get the credit that I deserve for it, right? All this stuff. And so time and plunging in there teach you what does and doesn't work about the initial crush you have on something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a soul crush you have on something.
And it's the University of Life. That's the other thing too. It's like we've only thought we could go outside of ourselves to learn, right? To go to, to like,
Yeah.
right? But the life provides a host of amazing lessons that if we're willing to see them as, part of our PhD in life, then and then we get to transmute those into wisdom.
Yes. And it could be an honorary PhD. It doesn't have to cost you anything.
It doesn't,
It's
well,
just
hopefully
awarded.
not. I've
You
already
award
had the ones that
yourself
cost a
your
lot.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah, you award yourself your own PhD for
Yeah,
free.
no more. We're not paying anymore for a
Student
PhD.
loans, no student loans.
Now it's
That's the
just
way to do it.
we'll take the lessons, but they don't cost anything.
Yes. And of course, they are going to cost at some level, but that is the point of being in life school,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it. So the University of Life is a profound teacher. And I feel like where you're at now in terms of amplifying your love languages at this moment are as a result of your experience with life and where you are right now, particularly because it's not just the radical restart the book, but you have other radicals in your in your
I,
altering set.
I do. I mean, a lot of things have been set free in me because of risks I took that probably didn't make sense to anybody else at the time. Like, for example, when I had that hugely secure, big law firm job, and then I fell in love with songwriting, it's not even a question that most people did not understand what I was doing and why. My dad at the time was the only one, may he rest in peace, who said, I don't understand what you're doing, but if you want to go try something like this, now is the time. You don't have a family, you don't have, obligations. You'd like, okay, go ahead. You can always go back. And the you can always go back isn't always true, but it was luckily true at that time. Not that I ever planned on going back, but for people who need that kind of solving, right? Then when I made my next really big shift, which was about 20 years later, after I'd gone from the internal shifts of, okay, I was a musical theater writer. And then when that crazy situation happened with Andrew Lloyd Webber and I didn't get on the big show we were writing, Sunset Boulevard, I didn't get the credit and money that I, really ought to have gotten on it. Matter of fact, I got tossed off the job. I got fired from the job, but some of the main things are still my songs.
Yeah.
I went into other kinds of things in music, country music, pop music, animation, film and TV, different things that were within that same structure. So it was internal, but it grew me a lot in terms of how I could relate to and produce new creative works with people in different areas who had very different styles, right? But after that, when that was not financially secure and I had a family and I had a husband who was also in the creative side of producing as an independent producer, I decided to do this health and wellness thing, this Arbonne thing that fell into my lap. And that business opened up something else magical in me because I'd never thought of myself as someone who could connect to people via a brand or a business opportunity was like beyond me. But I grew into it, and I became really excited about it, especially because that brand that was such a gift to me, I didn't go looking for, expanded my health, right? It was a clean, vegan, checked all the boxes. And it also checked the box of, could I do this alongside of my songwriting and still and create more solid revenue while still doing my creative thing? And that was true. It was amazing. It was so amazing that I finally stopped doing the creative stuff and only did the Arbonne for a long time. And then at one of our Arbonne conferences, we heard a guy speak. He was incredible. His name is John O'Leary. He was our keynote speaker. And that was 8 years ago. And last week, the film that I got to make as my first co-producing credit just came out into the marketplace, and we're still growing. We're expanding our numbers of theaters all the time. The Rotten Tomatoes reviews are, off the charts, and it's very exciting. Again, came from a place of pure gut instinct love. I watched this guy, watched him tell his amazingly transformational story of being a burn victim who wasn't even expected to survive one night to becoming one of the leading inspirational speakers in the world. And when my friend and mentor, Linda Huntington, said to me, I have to meet this guy. I want to make a film about his life. And she'd never made a film. I was the first one to run her up to the front of a line of 50 people and say, excuse me, we have to talk to John. Like, I don't know what's going on, but that was a love thing. That was how can I connect to something really much deeper? And now there are millions of people who've watched this movie, and there's such hope that they're feeling, and connection to them, to themselves, and to the idea that service is really important, and you never know who you're serving in any moment, who might be listening or the recipient of some small act of kindness or whatever it is. This is all brewing from that one speech that we saw. Like,
Right.
So and on and on and on it goes.
He did his thing, right? He was a motivational speaker. He showed up. He didn't show up to get to
A
have
movie?
someone for him, and like, we want to do a film about him.
No,
Like, his
he
goal
was just on his path, right?
Yeah.
But he did do a thing. He wrote, besides the speech, he wrote a phenomenal book, which is called On Fire. And that book really opened me and a lot of people in Arbonne up to, a lot of people in general. We weren't the only ones who read the book, but a lot of people that I know personally and that I'm close with because of the Arbonne community. It opened us up to how we could really tune in to what we were here for, to not burying our own light. Because John O'Leary, for many years after he survived this fire, in which, by the way, he lost all his fingers as one result. In order to save his life, eventually they had to amputate them all, and some other crazy things. He's, his scars are external as well as internal. We all walk around with internal scars, but his are visible in a different way, right? But he, for the longest time, did not tell his story to anybody, did not think that he was worthy of other people's attention and that he had something to contribute. It wasn't so much later in his life that he woke up to that. And that rang a bell for me too, because I have played small in many ways, and I feel I'm only now starting to really open up. And I think it's something you and I were talking about just before, about being in what did you call it? Age of wisdom.
For the way showers and the wisdom keepers.
The wisdom keepers. Way showers, yes. I've been looking for a term that's not elders, because there's something still we have a
Yeah. I
bad
don't think we
feeling
look
about.
like elders yet.
Way showers, yeah. Way showers is really lovely. Wisdom keeper's really great. But he opened up to that. I opened up to that because, like, what is the point of being here if you're not sharing everything you have?
Exactly. You know, and in this, which is really fascinating, and I don't know why this just popped into my head, but think of what artificial intelligence is, right? It's like it's this combination of intelligence. Meanwhile, as individuals, like we are a collection of intelligence, right? But we haven't been taught to like express it in a way where we can like package it and help other people, just like artificial intelligence is doing. And I just think, it's fascinating just to think about what we're talking about in parallel what's going on with technology.
Well, I was at a workshop last week with a fantastic uh, book coach, and she's just a fantastic coach in general. Her name is Sarah Cannell. Do you know
Mhm.
her?
I don't know her.
Okay. I was invited to go to something called Women Starting Movements. Kind of
Ooh.
intriguing, right?
Ah.
And I was recommended, this is how life goes, right? I was recommended by one of my best friends, who's a book um, marketer named Jane Ubell. And Jane said, I'm going to be at this conference. Sarah's doing it. Sarah's my business partner in one of my ventures. And I think you should come. So, of course, I want to see my friend, right? What do we know? Well, when we go to things, often when we do things or say yes to things, we're really going on other people's energy. So I thought, oh, yes, I'll just say yes and go to this thing. Then Jane couldn't make it. She got some work thing out in Las Vegas that she had to go to. And I just said, oh, you know what? I'm going anyway. Right. So Sarah Cannell, she's writing a book now called, it's either called Download or The Download, but she talks about artificial intelligence as one kind of intelligence, but divine intelligence as a different kind of intelligence. I think she might have another one in there. I don't know if it's emotional intelligence, something, something else, but we all have that divine intelligence,
We
and it
do.
works just as fast
Yes, it
as
does.
AI does. And I think we all need permission, like I got from Sarah, to remind myself to tune into that on the regular,
On
multiple
the right.
times a day,
Yeah.
right? The artificial can support the divine, but that's the one thing that the artificial intelligence is never going to have.
And if you haven't already read Greg Braden's book, Pure Human,
Mm,
I love it
haven't.
because totally in alignment to what we're talking about right
Yeah.
now. And that they're like we are the best computer ever made, right? And the thing is we haven't tapped into it because let's face it, 95% of our brain is occupied with all the stuff that we've memorized and that we've been conditioned for, right? So we're only using 5% of our capacity, right? So if we just start going, okay, like I talk to it sometimes and I was like, okay, I want to go to 10, like, let's go to 10%. Let me at least like use five more, give me 5 more percent. So I could,
Oh,
you
I
know,
love that you just commanded. You just
yeah.
command the universe to do that.
Well,
That's
and why not?
fantastic.
Because
Yeah,
that's
why
how it
not?
works.
Otherwise, how will it know what
Exactly.
what you expect?
Yeah. And sometimes I even talk to my frontal lobe, which is our creative center, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm really stuck here. But think about like Rodin, right? The thinker, right? Like it's our frontal lobe. That's where all creation, is happening in our brain, right? Like,
Does it
and
have a name? Your frontal lobe, for
oh,
instance,
I haven't
when I,
given it a name. That's a
oh,
good
maybe,
idea.
I don't know, it might make it easier to talk.
Yeah.
Like my chat GPT, I just call Chatty. I have a friend who called hers Chatty. I thought that was fun. I called her Chatty. People have different names. But maybe if Lobe, whatever you're going to call your frontal lobe, is there, you just
Yeah.
snap talk.
Yeah. I love that. I think lovey would be the word.
Lovey.
Lovey. Right?
And you're suddenly British too.
Lovey.
That's darling. Lovey, what do you have to say? I'm a little afraid of intellect these days. Of relying too much on intellect. Instinct is so much more
Well,
useful.
you have to connect your heart and your head, right? They can't, it's, in fact, we all, I mean, Heart Math Institute, is basically proven that the electromagnetic field that comes out of our fly is like pawing me, um, that comes out of our
That your
heart is,
dog is pawing you at this point in time?
yeah,
That
I'm
is
like, as
that means it's true. Right.
exactly. And way bigger than, the thought electromagnetic field. So, and
Oh,
in fact, the heart is really where, all creation happens. I mean, this is creation with knowledge and information. This is creation from, the universe, right? And so that, but to have them in coherence,
yeah.
that's the ticket.
Yes. Lovey and Dovey.
I love that. Let's go. Well, I
Or
like that one.
something.
You
Or
go,
something. What else?
Pet Lovey and Duffy.
That's like your two dogs. Can you bring them into the picture here?
Busy left, but Fly is right here. There he
Oh,
is. There he
hi,
is.
baby. So
We're on
beautiful.
camera. There you
Very
go.
good.
Aw,
I
see,
heard dogs are from the angelic realm.
they better be because I treat them like they are. They definitely are. I mean,
They totally
when
are.
I got fly when I was in the like the worst part of my eye disease, and
Mhm.
literally as a puppy, the first when I picked him up, the first thing he did, he licked my eyes.
Oh,
I'm like, okay,
so
you
good.
can heal me or be part of my team, right? Like,
Right. So
so
good.
yeah, they're definitely we get the dogs that are meant for us.
100%. 100%. And for the time that they're meant for us. This morning, I actually was texted by a woman I know from my hot yoga classes I do regularly. And she's lovely. And I knew that her dog has been going through cancer treatment. And she texted me and said, it looks like this is going to be the end. And I'm really losing it. I had her come over. She'd never been over to my house before, but I knew she needed somebody because these animals, they are here and they serve their purpose for us. And then when they leave, that's also for a purpose for us. It's really hard.
No, it's so
So
hard.
it sometimes
I
helps to
think
have
that
other
if I,
people around.
like if I had a few genie wishes, I'd say to make dogs' lives the same as in not, to be like ours, like that. And 1 year is 1 year, not 7 years, right?
Oh, we could do that, or we could just clone them.
We
But that
could.
is strange,
No,
I
I
think.
just think that, I think it's also accepting, the natural world as it is. And, dogs don't live as long as we do. But they're here for us. And they are all love. And then think about horses. Horses have the biggest electromagnetic field of any animal. And that's why equine therapy is so powerful.
It's not just because they're huge.
No, no. It's because they it's I don't know, like 4 to 10 feet or something ridiculous is the field of their heart. Like,
Wow. I had
so,
no
and
idea.
that's why it really is profound for people to use the equine therapy people know that. And it does miracles for people who are, suffering with PTSD
Yeah.
or anything, any nervous system stuff. As long as they don't step on your foot, right? Like, I'm kidding.
Do you have
We have
a
two
horse?
Icelandic courses, yeah. And they're all love.
Okay, I'm coming over.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe so your other thing, like let's just talk about your radicals. So you have the radical refresh, which is retreats, right? Like,
Yes. So I met a radically wonderful woman, Amy Rose Eisenbach, this year. And she specializes in, among other things, retreats. And so we did a 1 day health and healing retreat at my house here in Los Angeles. And it was very game on. We brought in a few practitioners who were friends of ours, and we just sent out the word to a bunch of our friends, and it was a magical day. And so my husband and I recently bought a house in Costa Rica, just in case America doesn't work out. And it's an Airbnb. We bought it and it is an Airbnb, and that gave me the idea that I could do retreats there. And so last year when I was down there, I met somebody who actually owns spaces that are particularly designed for retreats. He has 3 different homes all in the same area in my neighborhood. He's wonderful. He and his wife run this. And so I brought Amy Rose down, and now we'll have these 4 places to do these retreats. We just are nailing down our first week. It looks like it's going to be May 18th to 23rd of next year.
Fantastic.
And yeah, and Radical Refresh is like a inside and out healing space for people who need it for various reasons. But we've already, when we were down there last month, we found a fantastic sound healer. We found a beautiful yin yoga teacher. We found somebody who can do hands-on healing. Great, just great. And I feel really lucky. It feels like all the pieces are falling into place for that. And we'll have some of our favorite practitioners down there, and it'll be a very vibrationally uplifting experience. So we're starting that. Yeah. And there are some other things too. But that's the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, don't forget about the Berkshires. We have a lovely place here where we host retreats. So
have housing, we'll travel.
Exactly. And but and then there was one more radical, right? Don't you have 3 radicals, right?
Well, there are actually going to be more, it's funny what the world does. So as soon as I got home from that retreat, that conference with Sarah Cannell, Women's Starting Movements, where I started to think, not only was I writing this new book, but maybe that could be expanded. The next day, I opened up my email and I saw that my college, Vassar College, was offering this thing they do once every 2 years. They give one person a very lovely size grant to do something good for the world. You can take up to 2 years. And so I started thinking, how could I expand the number of things that I'm doing to impact more people in this radical way, to help them get past fears and past the things that keep us stuck. So I know that another place that I really want to focus will be the grief space, because I've been through it myself with both my parents in the last decade, and but also I've watched a lot of other people have to go through a lot of other things, and I've started to meet all these great people who are either in the death doula space or in the redefining grieving space. Or I have a friend from grade school who has something called TG Beyond. You can look it up online, The Great Beyond. That's sort of, he calls it dedutainment, and what was and deducation, right? His name is Barry Koch. He's so into this and just normalizing how we deal with
so
what's going to happen. So I think that there'll be a radical about that, whether it's radical reset. There'll be a number of radicals. Things are coming to me. I'm just allowing them all come to me. And then I'm going to apply for that grant. So it's the fact that the grant was there is opening up these other
noodle. You got your noodle running, and you were using your frontal lobe to do that.
Oh, was that true? Okay, there you go.
And so I think that, when we think about how we navigate through life, in passion, right, in connection, is
Mm.
when we are in the frequency of love, right? And that's why things happen. That's why they are just, because love is the greatest power in the universe, right?
It's the connective tissue.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so why not really do work that is your love language so that you can amplify, and it doesn't matter what any of us do as long as whatever we're doing is heart focused, or it gives our hearts joy, right? And because you could
And,
be a financial consultant and it's your love language and you're amplifying love into the world.
oh, interestingly, I just interviewed someone for my Radical Restart book who is a financial uh, uh, planner for women mostly, and she's super passionate about what she does. She used to be on the corporate side. Now she's in a place in a smaller organization that allows her to really put her heart into helping people um, plan their lives based on their values, and
Beautiful.
she had a thing where she lost her husband to cancer, and I do believe that that opened her heart up into something uh, of a bigger awareness about, wow, how can I help other people before they get to a stage like I'm at? How can I help them be prepared, and what can I do to serve them, that will really make sense for them? So it is that it's all about heart connection, and doesn't matter what like you said, it doesn't matter where it is that you employ it. It's the same thing as there's a part in this movie, Soul on Fire, that focuses on the nurse, this guy that forced John O'Leary to get up and learn to walk again through a lot of pain. But he knew that that would be of service to John later on in his life, as opposed to being in a wheelchair his entire life. And his love, he expressed his true love and for what he did through something that was hard
Yeah.
but useful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
it's
you can see it
all
all over.
around
It does
us,
not
right?
matter. There's so many millions of roads to choose
Yeah.
to be honest with yourself and aligned
Yeah.
and of service.
And how important it is, because the more of us that can be aligned from our hearts, the more we can impact the collective field of consciousness, and see a shift in how the world works, right? I mean, that's really the other opportunity in all of this, is that what we're all doing now is we're doing work that's of service to others. And in that sense, we are creating the world we want to live in.
Well, we certainly don't want to live in the world that we're seeing.
No, no, but we get to define it now, right? Because for the longest time,
There's some stuff wrong with that.
we just sort of went along because it was sort of okay, right? Like, I mean,
Good
yeah,
enough.
good enough, right? But like,
Good enough.
good enough is not a good, that is not a great way to live. Like, we want like everybody to live out of bounds, right? Like, just like stop, get out of the box,
Yeah.
move into this place where you take chances. And I promise you, the universe will never, ever let you down. The unknown will never let you down, right? But if we,
It doesn't mean you'll never fail.
no, no, that's a different, but it means that like each step in a direction is going to either open a door, or it's going to, kind of put you on another
Yeah.
path, right?
Yeah.
And just like your life, right? Just every step along the way, it was like, and then here you are, you're multi-hyphenated Arbonne star, um, lyricist, co-producing things with your husband, co-produced this show that I have to see, The movie, it's a movie, right? That
It's a
just came
movie.
out. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
have
movie.
to
Yeah.
seek it out somewhere.
It's a
And
it's on 1,750 screens right now. It might be near you. Yeah.
okay, well,
So
definitely look for it. You
yeah.
know, I mean, we're
Or it could be coming to a streamer near you in a couple of months.
okay. Yeah. I mean,
But I might not be able to talk about it.
are people doing like streaming parties? Like, can they, or is that anything that you're
I don't know.
okay?
We can talk about that offline.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, but the whole point of A Loud Voice for Love is really to share these amazing people that I know who are evolving in their lives and really in these places where we're operating in the space where we understand that love is the only way forward. And whatever our love language is, we need
Mhm.
to be amplifying that out into the world.
Yeah, that's our biggest responsibility. I love that you do this.
Thank
And
you.
I love that you felt called to do this at this time
Yeah. Well, it
because
was
we need
kind
it now
of
more
like,
than ever.
like I just I felt like this little kid who every time I heard all the hate and vitriol, I was like, la 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 la.
Because
And
you're
I'm
not
like,
going to get in there w with your gun, right?
no, no,
No.
at all, right? So it's like, so what can I offer out into the world
Yeah.
that is just inspiring, right? So that's just giving somebody the zhuzh that they need to just like just how you went to this thing and you saw that guy talk and all of a sudden you produced a movie about him. I
It's
mean,
the you never know. Somebody could be watching
right,
this and it'll finally be their time to say, you know what? I'm done fill in the blank. I'm
yeah,
going to,
yeah,
start the next blank, right? It's just, you just don't know. And if you can be the voice, and you might be the voice, or you might be the touch, or you might, be
yeah,
whatever people need, that you should take that opportunity to try.
yeah. And remember that like we don't want to relive the past, right? We've already had those life lessons, right? We already got that PhD. So we really want to be now and going forward. And I think that is really just the key to staying in your heart as well, because we could we could spend a lot of time like replaying things that didn't quite work out, and that doesn't move us forward.
I tried that.
Yeah.
Did you try that ever? It's a bad move. It's there'll never be anything new about that. It's nice when you get to a place where you can look at something that was having you circle the drain for a while and see it in a completely different light and be grateful for the fact that it happened. That's different.
Yeah.
That's a good reason to look at the
That
past.
wisdom is experienced without the emotional
Yeah,
kind of negativity, right? Like so once we
yeah,
can get to that place where it's like, oh wow, that was actually a gift, right? It happened for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
And that is a profound place to be. So, before we end, anything you want to say out there into the world to whoever my listeners are?
So yeah, here's what I would say to your listeners. I want to connect with you because you really do never know who is listening and what it's supposed to lead to. So I've recently set up a website. It's just amypowers.com. And a number of the things that I'm doing, not the movie and all my theater stuff that I've got going on, but a lot of the healing, transformational work, connecting with people who are in the same mindset. I have a whole other business that's up there called Amy Sent Me,
Oh,
where people connect to practitioners of various sorts that are handpicked, by me and the people that I trust most in my community. And we're building movements of aware, empowered people. We want to be all together as much as possible. So I check that. And today I opened my Substack as well. Yeah, just today. It's Amy Powers on Substack. So, I think the more that we can all have positive exchange with each other, connect with each other, the better off we'll all be. So I'm just offering my couple of ways.
Hmm. Oh, I love you so much, and I love what you're doing. I
Thank
love
you.
more that we know each other.
Crazy, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Let
So
the
I'm
universe do its thing.
doing its thing. And so I want to
Thank
thank
you,
all of
Carol.
my listeners and Amy for being here. And please reach out to Amy and please everybody who's listening also be a loud voice for love right now. I love you all.
Raise a loud voice for love. Sky above, stars will guide. Together rise, we can move. Feel the power side by side.